choose this November? Ameritopia or America? Call Mike at 877-381-3811.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
Not like Obama hit it, ladies and gentlemen. Not like he hit it. Fundamentally transforming America. If you're fundamentally transforming America, I've said it repeatedly, that means you despise America. Why would you fundamentally transform something you love? Something you believe in, something you value. You don't fundamentally transform something like that. And where does the president have the authority to fundamentally transform our society at all? That's the power of a fascist. It's not the power of a president. But lest we forget, back in 2001, Obama did his famous radio interview with WBEZ, and I'm not going to play the whole thing because it gets monotonous. But I will play one of the key parts of it because it's relevant to, yet again, understanding what's occurring in this society. Cut 9, go.
I think we can say that the Constitution reflected an enormous blind spot in this culture that carries on until this day, and that the framers had that same blind spot. I don't think the two views are contradictory to say that it was a remarkable political document that paved the way for where we are now, and to say that it also reflected the fundamental flaw of this country that continues to this day.
It did not reflect a fundamental flaw that continues to this day. The other day I read to you comments by Abraham Lincoln in 1858 when he was running for the Senate. And I used it to answer Thurgood Marshall, who said essentially what Obama has said here, and essentially what every liberal who seeks to impose their will on us says. The framers were flawed, the document's flawed, therefore our heritage is flawed, and they wish to remake America. Now the fact is that people are flawed. And slavery is a problem with imperfect people doing very evil things. There's still slavery in the world today. There's still slavery in the world today, having nothing to do with constitutions. I read to you the other day from the old Soviet Constitution in 1936. Boy, wasn't it pretty? Paradise on earth. A genocidal, horrific government. Mass murders. Gulags. Torture. Yet they talked about free health care and free education and free this and free that. Magnificent egalitarianism. That was in their Constitution. Now, there's more. There's more. We have, in the popular culture today, in the media today, people echoing this view that Obama states. Remember Richard Stengel, the managing editor of Time magazine? Do you know he used to be the CEO of the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia? He wrote that piece in Time magazine, and I read it to you, and I addressed it line by line. But in part, he said, if the Constitution was intended to limit the federal government, it sure doesn't say so. This is a guy that used to head the National Constitution Center. The framers weren't afraid of a little messiness, which is another reason we shouldn't be so delicate about changing the Constitution or reinterpreting it. Stunning. Crazy. Richard Cohen, the goofball columnist at the Washington Compost. He wrote, this fatuous infatuation with the Constitution, particularly the 10th Amendment, is clearly the work of witches, Wiccans, and wackos. It has nothing to do with America's real problems, and if taken too seriously, will cause an economic and political calamity. He said the Constitution's a wonderful document, quite miraculous actually, but only because it has been wisely adapted to changing times, to adhere to the very word of its every clause. Hardly as respectful to the Founding Fathers. They were revolutionaries who embraced change. That's how we got here. This is a supposed bright light at the Washington Compost. A complete disregard for our history and the Constitution. He's a liar. Then we have Thomas L. Friedman of the New York Times. This is in Ameritopia. There's only one thing worse than one-party autocracy, and that is one-party democracy, which is what we have in America today. One-party autocracy certainly has its drawbacks, but when it is led by a reasonably enlightened group of people, as in China today, it can also have great advantages. That one party can just impose the politically difficult but critically important policies needed to move a society forward in the 21st century. One-party rule, an autocracy. China's a police state, where people like Friedman would not be free to work in their own profession. This is what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I spent, almost 2 years of my life putting this book together, trying to get to the root of the problem. And when you're done with this, you'll be at the root of the problem. I believe you'll understand better than anyone else, better than most, exactly what's going on in the society. And you're going to want simple answers. Mark, what do we do? What do we do? Well, here's my thinking on that. We need your advice on what to do. We need your advice. You need to talk to your family members. You need to talk to your neighbors. You can't be shy about this anymore. You need to talk to your coworkers. In every forum possible, you need to be heard. We need to enlist more and more of our fellow citizens in this cause. And what is this cause? This cause is to reestablish America and to reject Ameritopia. Welcome to Ameritopia. I think it is absolutely crucial that we get our terms right, that we understand what our surroundings are, that we stop fooling ourselves, that we not worry about what some people think of us in various social circles. As I said the other day, it's neither virtuous nor noble to pretend that what is going on is not going on. I'm not an alarmist. I'm beyond that. I'm a realist. I see it, and you see it. Now, the question is, are we going to pass the word along so we can get our American spirit back? We have people in high office, many of whom are in high office to continue to dismantle this society. And by dismantling this society, I mean disemboweling the Constitution. I mean rejecting the value of the individual. Let's take this issue of contraception. They claim to be doing it for the individual, for women in particular. Well, what are they doing for women and the individual in particular? You can get condoms anywhere, birth control pills anywhere. I'm not going to go through the variety of products that are out there. You can get an abortion anywhere. And yet that's not good enough. That's not pure enough. That's not comprehensive enough for our utopian statists, is it? They seek to take what few areas of our society are left that resist them, that is, that resist the government, and crush them. Crush them. This is not some screw-up. This is not some mistake. This is intentional. This is absolutely intentional. Now, they may pull back, but they're never going to give up. Liberty is never safe from tyranny. Liberty is never safe from tyranny. And as exhausting as it is, ladies and gentlemen, if we lose our resolve, we're going to lose our liberty. And it's not enough. It's not enough to quote a founder here and there, although I do that. It's not enough to quote the Constitution and Declaration here and there, although I do that too. I felt that what we needed was a coherent foundation, one which people can understand, and yet one which requires thinking, so that we, each one of us, can be the Paul Revere in our own streets, in our own neighborhoods, our own community, And when some dumb liberal in the line at some grocery store says something obnoxious, don't pick a fight. Educate them. Educate them, educate them. But again, we need to get started here. I just want to thank you all so much.